All right, guys, I want to talk with you about how far you have to go for training, because very often I get messages from people saying, look, I don't live in a big city. I don't live in Las Vegas. There aren't gyms on every block where I can go and find awesome sparring partners. So what do I do? Well, I want to share with you what I have to do, because I live on an island. Got all this water around me, and I have to get on this ferry, and I have to trek between all of these islands to get over to Vancouver, where I can get the hard rounds, the rounds with the guys who are fighting at world-class level, because there's nobody here on this island that I choose to live who is fighting at world-class level. So, big trip. Is it worth it? Is it a sacrifice? It's all up to you. Are you willing to do that? Of course, is the main question. This is kind of fun for me because I've actually never done an episode for you guys out and about. I always feel a little self-conscious being the dude holding the camera, but this is the big ferry station. You can see over there, I lined up with all those cars way in the background there. Got myself onto the ferry. Now let's talk about, before we get into how long I have to travel to go get these rounds, how many rounds I do, let's talk about somebody like GSP. I've heard him say that he was living up in Montreal in Canada, but he wanted to get his really good wrestling rounds in. So what did he do? He would drive down to the States, I believe it was New York, that's a pretty big drive, and he would do his wrestling days there. And then he would go back to Canada where he's probably doing his striking. So what am I doing to get myself these solid rounds? How much time am I spending there? How inconvenient is it? Well, I wake up at 5 in the morning. I usually trek over here. Today is not a sparring day. I'm not in training camp right now. Today I'm going over for other work stuff. But what I would normally do is get up at 5 a.m. It's usually dark. That's not fun. I trek all the way over to there, which takes me about... That was rude. That was loud. This ferry here, by the way, this is a small little guy, and this is going to go over to one of the islands over there. We have great islands, great places around here to visit. If you haven't been to Vancouver Island, hopefully you can come at some point, maybe even to train with myself. So up at 5, trekking over to that lineup at about 6 in the morning, get on the ferry. Takes an hour and a half to get over to Vancouver. Once I'm there, I have my sparring partner pick me up. Takes about half an hour to drive to where we get our rounds in. We're only doing 5 rounds. 5 rounds of sparring, and then I have to come back. When all's said and done, I'm getting 5 hard sparring rounds, really hard ones, mind you, usually with Josh Johnsey, who fights in Glory. And we, from there, are going, okay, it took me to get up at 5 a.m., get back home at 5 p.m. Here's the kicker. By the time I've done all that, I got to come back home and I got to finish off and get my cardio. Still got to do my cardio. So is it ideal? No. Can you make it happen? Absolutely. Again, guys, this is Vancouver Island. Beautiful, beautiful spot. If you guys haven't been here, hopefully at some point you will come out and get to train with me and get to see all this beauty. It's worth it for me to have to do these long trips to get sparring in, to be able to live here. And to be honest, if I wasn't living here, I'd probably move to somewhere like Hawaii, because I want to be on an island. I want somewhere a little more remote, and I don't want to live in the big city. So this is what I do to get my rounds when I'm very serious about a fight and really, really know I have a hard opponent and want to win. Let's call it there, guys. We'll see you back here very soon.